Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the latest episode in the Buc Bros podcast. We, as always, are bringing you our thoughts and takes on every game this season. This week, we're going to do the review of the Rams game, give our thoughts on the upcoming game in Foxborough, where history is set to be made. And then we'll give you our Buc Bro bets, what we're betting on for the Bucs game this week. As always, let me introduce you to our fellow Buc Bros, Bryce, John, and Zach. How you guys doing?
Hey, broadcasters. It's been an interesting week. I haven't felt a loss in 10 straight times we've done this. So, pumped for the game of the century coming up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's good to be here. And like Bryce said, really looking forward to this upcoming week.
Yeah, like Bryce, I haven't tasted defeat in some time, and I don't like it. So I'm excited to move forward and just forget about what happened last week.
Yeah, tough week for sure. Bucs definitely have to go back to the drawing board. So we're going to jump right into it with our game review of the Rams game. Just general thoughts, guys. I know we all just said we lost and we're expecting a big turnaround in next week. But what did you guys look at in the game? Let's start with John.
So the biggest thing for me was the defense failed to make any kind of adjustments. That's what stood out to me the hardest was the Rams had a plan, and they were able to stick with it through 4 quarters of football and not have to give anything up. Our offense actually outplayed them for the majority of the game. We had more passing yards. We had more total yards. We had more first downs. We were better on 4th down. We were the better team offensively. Our defense just could not keep them off the field. They converted, I think, 11 out of 14 third downs. We just couldn't stop them. And that's not going to cut it. You know what I mean? So that's what stood out to me was our inability to make adjustments to stop the Rams offense. And if we're not able to make those kinds of adjustments, it could end up being a long season.
Yeah, definitely agreed. The Rams looked good, and it looked like defense didn't have any answers. And you definitely don't want to see that. Bryce, what's your take on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with John. The defense did not play up to, I guess, the Bucs standard from the last part of last season. And really, and I think you touched on this, Ryan, in our pregame or our game preview last week were we going to get some pass rush? And God, we did not get anything from a pass rush. I mean, I understand that with Jamel Dean getting hurt, we had to put in our 4th-string cornerback. And at that point in time, we probably played a lot of zone because we just couldn't leave him on an island with Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, right? The Rams are not even just a solid team. They're a really good team, both defensively and offensively. They're going to be there probably in, NFC division, NFC championship game. Well, we'll see them again in the playoffs. But yes, I thought the defense did not play well. We were definitely, like John said, we couldn't get off on 3rd down. I mean, they started the game 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversion, so 2 straight 3-and-outs, and then I think it was something like 8 or 9 straight 3rd down conversions. So you're not going to win a lot of games when you can't get any pass rush, you can't get off on 3rd down. And then, we definitely left some explosive plays out there, especially for that 1-2 Deshaun Jackson. That was the backbreaker, I thought, of that game. That kind of was like, that's pretty much it. Offensively, I thought we did all right. We still can't run the ball for some reason. Hopefully, we're going to find a way to be a little bit more balanced. I think we only ran the ball 9 times versus like 55 passes. So you're not going to win a whole lot of games that way, too. But again, we were playing catch-up all games, so it kind of leads to that when we were playing catch-up that you're going to pass more than run. That being said, I thought the offensive line did okay. Tom Brady still looks like Tom Brady. He did a great job, I thought. And then we just missed a few big plays, right? I think, Gronk had a catch where I think on 3rd down it was still a 0-0. Could have been 7-0 at that time. That he normally catches, but it went through his hands. We've just missed a few deep routes. So overall, I'm not worried about the offensive production going forward. We still look solid there, but yeah, we got to do something about the pass rush if we want to get back to that elite level that we were playing on defense towards the end of last season.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Not going to do a whole lot when you're getting 1 sack a game. And speaking of plays missed, I saw that dropped Jamel Dean interception that looked like it hit him right in the hands. So not
Yeah,
just
I
on the
mean,
offensive side, but the defense as well.
that was tailor-made interception. It's probably a house call too if he catches that. And then a few drives later he gets hurt. So missed his opportunity there. But yes, correct. That was a big game changer as well.
Yep. Let's go to our Buc Bros. Zach, what are your thoughts on the game? What did you see?
Well, I know last week I touched on trying to account for stretching out wide, running that horizontal passing attack, drag routes, screens, all of that. And drag routes murdered us. Part of that is, from my perspective, I saw a lot of what I would call OPI with receivers blocking more than a yard downfield as someone runs a drag route, like on the Deshaun Jackson play. But those weren't called. So to me, it was a perfect storm of the refs being a little liberal with their interpretation of OPI and the scheme just breaking the defense. I mean, it's a area that they need to address, the secondary, and they need to make adjustments. I'm not overly concerned right now because, like Bryce mentioned, the defense caught fire back half of the year, right? So the first 10 11 weeks of last year, the defense was not the world beaters that they were at the end of the year. So trying to be patient with them, but they're not making adjustments to John's point, and they need to do that first and foremost because there's a blueprint now. The Cowboys and the Rams, there's a blueprint, so they need to make adjustments.
What's interesting is we allowed every receiver on the Rams offense to average more than 10 yards a catch. That is not a winning formula. That's just unacceptable. You don't win football games that way, no matter who's your quarterback, no matter what your offense looks like. And I mean, the adjustments have to be made, whether it's this week going into the Patriots or later down the season. That's something that we're gonna have to just figure out because that's just too much.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the point of no pressure. Receivers are having time to get down the field and complete those passes. So I think just totally defense needs to be looked at. They haven't been the same caliber of a defense that we saw in the playoffs. And even with the injuries, we need to not make excuses and starting to shape up both in the secondary, but also, as I believe, up front. So guys, with that, let's look ahead, do our game preview now. And this is a big one. I think we all in our previews for the season, we're very interested and again, still interested to see what Tom Brady's going to do. Are you set to break the all-time passing record that Peyton Manning holds back in Foxborough? So guys, big game. What are we thinking on this one? Give me just your general thoughts, and then, as always, look, we like to do here, a fantasy player on the Bucs to watch for the game. Let's start with Buc Bros.
Yeah, like we had mentioned in the opening, this is the game of the century. Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick in Foxborough. I'm sure those tickets are going for somewhere north of $2,000 just for the nosebleeds. So it's going to be probably the most viewed game of this season, if not the last few seasons, on Sunday night. But yes, what I'm looking for is what we've just been talking about. I'd like to see a rebound defensively, and I'd like to see some pass rush. And, New England, they've got a new quarterback, obviously, rookie quarterback, Mac Jones. Their offensive line is average. So we should, from a matchup perspective, we should have the advantage there. And I'm hoping that with this signing of Richard Sherman, not that I think he's going to do much for this game, but at least he's present, maybe that will help in the secondary. But what will really help the secondary is if we can get home a lot quicker to the quarterback. So I'm hoping that Todd Bowles, as John and Zach mentioned, has some adjustments to bring some exotic blitzes or blitz a little bit more than we did last game to get to Mac Jones and rattle the quarterback. Obviously, that stadium is going to be loud. The Patriots defense has been pretty solid for the first 3 games. Granted, they've played the Jets, and the Dolphins to start the season. So those aren't great teams, and they just got shellacked by the Saints. So they've got another NFC South opponent coming in, and hopefully it's the same outcome. And we all know that Tom Brady's going to be up for this game. Hopefully Gronk's healthy enough to play for this game. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm sure the offense is going to put up points. Unfortunately, the Rams broke our streak of 30 plus points consecutively in a game. I think we'll get back to that in this game. And my fantasy player of the game has to be the GOAT, 12, Tom Brady. If you got him, start him. I don't know why he'd be sitting him right now. He leads the league in touchdowns. But I just see him going off this game. I don't think there's any way that Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich don't draw up a few nice, when they get close, nice routes for him to easily have 3 to 4 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, the beauties of me picking you first. You get to pick 12 as your fantasy player.
My fingers are crossed. Pick me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an obvious choice. Tom Brady starting the season on fire, and he's going to come in, I think, with a little extra moxie. Let's go to John now. John, same question.
So really looking forward to this game. I have my SpaceX satellite internet hooked up on the top of my car, so I will be able to get this game while we are in the desert on Sunday. I am super looking forward to this. I had to borrow that satellite from a friend of mine, and I think the key to this game for me is going to be the secondary. Jamel Dean was participating at practice today. Carlton Davis participated at practice today, and Richard Sherman participated at practice today. So I think if we can get those guys to come together throughout the remainder of the week, that'll really help our defense to coalesce a little bit, this should be a relatively easy win for us, but I think it's more of a statement game for guys like Gronkowski and Brady going back to their old team. And that's what I would like to see. Fantasy-wise, my pick this week is going to be Ronald Jones. I think we're going to do something this week that we haven't done all season, which is establish a run game. And I think he's going to be the horse to lead the stable here and really drive it home. I expect him to have 2 touchdowns this week in a very comfortable win.
Yeah, that would be a very welcome sight for Bucs fans, not having a lot of run game in any of our 3 games up until this date. So I think we're all hoping that somebody, at least hopefully Ronald Jones, if not Leonard Fournette, gets the running game going. Finally, Zach, what are your thoughts on the game and your fantasy player of interest?
Yes, so obviously it's a great game. Like the narrative is phenomenal with Brady going home, Gronk going home. The keys for me, one, it's a rookie quarterback. Like we have to harass him. We have to abuse him. He needs to be uncomfortable. We need him seeing ghosts. So it's really important that they get after him. And that's interior, edge. However, Todd can draw up some pressure. They need him to be shook constantly throughout the game. And I think that will really go a long way. On the offensive side, we do need that running game. I mean, like everyone's saying, this offense works really well when Brady can run play action. And if you're running the ball, like Bryce said, 9 times, your play action doesn't really carry any weight. So it's not going to help Brady in the passing game when they can just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. They don't think you're running the ball. So it's important we set up the ground attack for sure. I think that's definitely a key for the offense. I'm excited to see Sherman only because he's wearing number 5. I was very skeptical when he came over, but when I saw he's wearing a single digit number, I really appreciated the attitude that brings. So I like his swag for this game whenever he plays. For fantasy, I just have to go opposite Bryce and take Gronk. I mean, to me, it's the same coin. You can flip it, whichever one it lands on. I could see Gronk easily getting a couple tutties, spiking it, and enjoying being back in Foxborough. Those 2 know that end zone better than anyone. So I think either one's fine, but I'll go Gronk because Bryce got to go first and take Brady. So
that makes sense. Gronk obviously coming back with Brady, not as a storied legacy as Brady, but many years and a great career, Hall of Fame career in New England. For me, I just think we need to, like everybody said, it's a rookie quarterback. You got to get pressure on him. Hopefully Todd Bowles designs some blitzes that allow us to get there in time. I haven't watched a lot of Mac Jones, but I can't imagine that they have a lot of deep threats. I don't think he's thrown for a lot of touchdowns or a lot of yards. I think they'll keep it simple for him. So the more we can get there, the more that our corners can stay and lock in, and hopefully Richard Sherman, with his veteran presence and his savvy football mind, can pick off a couple. And on offense, just keep chugging. Even with the lack of run game, I know New England's defense is pretty good, but I think the offense, is still chugging along pretty well. I think we could still score some points. They're just, a little execution here and there, a little bit of cleanup, and I think we'll be right back on track. So I'm not too worried about the offense. And for my fantasy player, I'm going to put the faith back in the defense. I'm going to say play the defense. I know they haven't been great and they've given up a lot of pass yards. But there's something about the game and the rookie quarterback that I think the defense is going to want to come out and show that they're still a playoff contending and Super Bowl contending defense, and that they can dominate a game. So if you got the Tampa Bay defense, start them.
I think you've got a really good pick there. Mac Jones only has 2 touchdowns on the season, 730 yards total, and 4 picks. So, yeah, I think that's a great time to start the Bucs defense. I think that's a great fantasy pick, Ryan. That's wonderful.
Outside of Tom Brady, of course. But the other thing too, James White, who I think has one of those receiving touchdowns, is also out. He's out for the season. That's that was Tom Brady, and I'm sure Mac Jones's favorite check down option that won't be available for this game. So I agree. I think the defense will have a nice rebound. The only thing that I'm concerned about is it's going to be rocking in that stadium. I mean, it's going to be pumped. They're going to be pumped up. So we'll see how we react.
So let's head into our final section, Buc Bro bets. Let's see what Zach has for us. What are we going to be betting on this week as we head into Foxborough?
Yeah, I would just like to take a moment to reflect on a really terrible 1-2 last week. It was unfortunate because we left points on the board in the first half, and that was one of ours. That was our lock was first half over, and I just think there were a lot of points, not just a field goal. That was whatever. McVay celebrated it like they had won the Super Bowl, and it's a missed field goal at the end of the half. It was a wild scene, but we left a lot of points rather out there in the first half. But we hit the over. The Bucs continue to be an over club. The over is going to be a constant. I think the offense scores points and the defense, unfortunately, allows points. So we have the over again moving into Foxborough. The other ones we have here, okay. New England total points under 20.5. New England has only broken 20 once this year, and that's when they played the Jets. So I would be offended if we give up more than 20 when the Saints and the Dolphins didn't. That would be upsetting to me. So I think that is also going to be on the card. And our lock, I'm going back to first half overs, but just for the Bucs. 14.5. I think Brady comes in hot. I think he comes in upset at what happened. We all saw him on the sideline. You could read his lips. He was cursing a lot, and I think it was right at Roger, those swear words, because that game was tough to watch from an officiating perspective. But regardless, he's hot. He's upset. He's going home to a place that kicked him out. I think first half, I'd be surprised if we don't put up 3 touchdowns. I assume he's going to come out really ready to go. So that's what we have right now. We have the over, which is 49.5. That's easy. I mean, 50 points over is hit for us every time. New England under 20.5 for the full game. They've only done it once against the Jets. And then Bucs over 14.5 in the first half as the lock. I don't see us coming out looking flat after that game for this game.
All right. All over unders. Those are great bets. Make sure to get in on the action, Buc Bros.
What is the over under on how many smiles we'll see from Belichick this game?
Props for that aren't out yet, but I will keep you posted. and
right.
I will hammer the under.
I think definitely go with the under if it's anything but 0.
Yes.
All right, Buc Bros, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to thank my fellow Buc Bros for joining me. Tune in next week as we go over our quarter season review. We'll review the first 4 games, see where we stand, see how our predictions are coming out. As always, we like to sign off here. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.